As a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
The Jacksonville Jaguars are going on the road to face the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Jaguars had the upset of the week last week when they defeated the Indianapolis Colts 27-20. And the Tennessee Titans are coming off of a victory Monday night against the Denver Broncos and a really close victory. They won that game 16-14. And when you look at the Tennessee Titans, I mean, that is the game that they really should have lost. But the reason why they were able to still somehow get the victory was because their defense played really good. Because Denver's offense was not able to capitalize on Tennessee's mistakes. And when you look at the Jaguars, that defense against the Colts played really well. Now, in the first half, they kind of struggled because the Colts had a lot of success moving the football on them. But after that, in the second half, this defense played really well. Like, late in the third quarter, all throughout the fourth quarter, like, they really locked in and shut down the Indianapolis Colts. And they forced Phillip Rivers to pretty much unravel because he pretty much had a lot of mistakes. And the Jacksonville Jaguars made a lot of big plays. And, I mean, C.J. Henderson, the rookie cornerback out of the University of Florida, had a really good game in his NFL debut. Now, for the Jaguars in this game, my concern about their defense going against the Titans is going to be, can they stop the run? Because Indianapolis had a lot of success running the football on that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Now, I don't know if the Jacksonville Jaguars defense just isn't good against the run, or if the Colts just had a very good offensive line and their offensive line was the reason of why they had so much success moving the football. Because the Colts, in my opinion, do have the best offensive line in the NFL as of right now. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they want to win this game, we already know it's been stated so many times when you face the Titans, you have to be able to stop Derrick Henry. Now, for some reason, people like to say that Derrick Henry got shut down against the Denver Broncos for some reason, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because he still had a pretty nice game. But a lot of people want to be like, oh, JT, look how many carries he had. Okay. I mean, he still had a pretty nice game. And for the Jaguars to win this game, you have to be able to make the big plays with the game of the line. Because anytime you play Tennessee, the way Tennessee likes to win football games is like they like to kind of, take care of the football and let the game be close going into the fourth quarter. So if you want to beat Tennessee, you have to be able to make big plays in the fourth quarter, which is going to be interesting to watch because the Jacksonville Jaguars last week had some really big plays in the fourth quarter. That was a big reason why they won that game against the Indianapolis Colts. So, I mean, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're going to have a really good fourth quarter again this week if you want to be able to capitalize and beat the Tennessee Titans this week. And the Jacksonville Jaguars offense played really well against the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, their offense, Gardner Minshew was 19 of 20, 173 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns. This dude had more touchdowns than he had incompletions. It was like he was playing a game of Madden. And they also had a lot of success running the football with rookie halfback James Robinson. So, I mean, if you're the Jaguars, you're looking at a Tennessee Titans secondary that is kind of beat up right now. Adoree Jackson is going to be playing in this game. So, I mean, this secondary for Tennessee is kind of questionable. And you have a really good group of wide receivers in DJ Chark and D.D. Westbrook. And also rookie wide receiver out of Colorado, Laviska Shenault. So, I mean, if you're the Titans, man, I mean, you got to figure out a way to stop this pass attack for Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, they don't throw the football all over the field. Like, they're not throwing 60, 50-yard bombs and things like that. Like, most of the time, they're throwing a lot of things underneath, and their wide receivers are making plays happen with the ball in their hands. So, I mean, if you're the Tennessee Titans, your secondary is going to have their work cut out for them in this game. Now, can Jacksonville's off the line stop this defensive line for Tennessee? Because Tennessee has a really good defensive line. You have Jadeveon Clowney, who had a pretty good game against Denver. You're going to have Harold Landry playing in this game. Then you're going to have one of my favorite players in the NFL that nobody talks about going into year 2 is going to be Jeffrey Simmons. Now, for those of you guys who are Jacksonville Jaguar fans and you don't know who Jeffrey Simmons is, you're going to figure out who he is at the end of this game. Jeffrey Simmons is Ndamukong Suh reincarnated. And I've been bragging about Jeffrey Simmons all this offseason. I mean, last year he only played half the season as a rookie. And in the playoffs, he was a large reason why the Tennessee Titans were able to defeat the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round. And he had a really good game against the Denver Broncos last week on Monday Night Football. So if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think you're going to have to find out a way to stop this Tennessee Titans defensive line with Vic Beasley, with Harold Landry. We still don't really know if Vic Beasley's going to play in this game or not. Don't really know. I wasn't able to find an injury report about who was questionable or who was, a full participant in practice and things like that. But, I mean, the Titans have a pretty good defensive line. So, if you're Jacksonville, you're going to have to get the ball out fairly quickly, which is something that they did against the Indianapolis Colts last week, which was a big reason why Gardner Minshew was so efficient. Now, if this secondary for Tennessee isn't able to stop this passing attack for Jacksonville, it's going to be a long game. Because Jacksonville's offense really is like a West Coast oriented offense, which they like to throw the football underneath and then they like to run the football to set up the passing game. So, I mean, if you're Tennessee, you got to be able to stop the run game for Jacksonville, because this Jacksonville Jaguars offense is predicated off running the football to establish the passing game. And then if you're at Jacksonville, you got to be able to stop Derrick Henry. Because we already know the key to victory most of the time to stopping this Titans offense is stopping Derrick Henry. And I mean, when you look at how Tennessee wins games, a lot of their games are really close and they all come down to making things happen in the fourth quarter. So if you're the Jaguars, you got to have another good fourth quarter like you did last week against the Colts. And you got to be able to win this game against Tennessee based on making big plays in the fourth quarter and getting big stops on defense in the fourth. Because the majority of the times, Tennessee wins games based on having great fourth quarters. Like the first three quarters, it's kind of like a boxing match when you face Tennessee. You're going back and forth. You're trying to deliver the knockout blow. Then out of nowhere, Tennessee comes and they just give you a flash KO. So if you're Jacksonville, you got to be able to stop Tennessee in the fourth quarter, because that is how Tennessee wins games. And I mean, for Tennessee, are you going to have a better performance kicking the football this week than you did last week? Because if you're missing like 4 or 5 field goals in this game against Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they're going to make you pay. So, I mean, for Tennessee, how's the field goal kicking going to be? Because they really should have lost that game versus Denver, but the reason why they were able to sneak out with that victory was because Denver's offense wasn't able to capitalize off of Tennessee's mistakes. But you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, this is an offense that can make you pay if you turn over the football like they did last week against the Colts. So, I mean, the team I'm going to take to win this game, I got to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game. Denver really should have won that game versus Tennessee. I'm not really all that encouraged by Tennessee's performance against Denver last week. I still have my concerns about this Tennessee Titans team. And I mean, maybe it was just first week jitters, but I mean, the Jaguars looked more composed in that game against the Indianapolis Colts. And I have a little bit more confidence in them winning this game than I do with the Tennessee Titans. And this is going to be a game that's going to be fairly close. It's all going to come down to who makes the big plays in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. And that's what really matters in this game. And I really trust Gardner Minshew. I was never a guy who felt like Gardner Minshew was bad or he should have gotten replaced, anything like that. I have a lot of confidence in Gardner Minshew. I have a lot of confidence in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And I hope they don't let me down, because it still may be an upset, because I still don't think a lot of people believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think a lot of people are going into this game believing that win against the Indianapolis Colts was a fluke. And if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're looking to prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game. 21-20 is going to be my final score prediction in this game, because this is a game that can go either way. But I mean, when you look at the style and the brand of football that Tennessee plays, it's all going to come down to, can Jacksonville make the big plays when it matters the most? And Josh Lambo is one of the best kickers in the NFL. So, I mean, I got to take Jacksonville to win this game. I'm taking them to win 21-20 is going to be my final score prediction in this game, because I just don't have a lot of confidence in Denver. I know it was week 1. Everybody's still trying to get back into the flow of football, because everybody hasn't played football the last 7-8 months. But at the end of the day, I mean, that performance against Denver, I feel like Tennessee really could have performed a little bit better in that game than what happened. So, I mean, I got to take Jacksonville. I just have a little bit more faith in Jacksonville to win this game because last week they were really good. They were really impressive against the Indianapolis Colts team that a lot of people feel could be a dark horse Super Bowl contender. So, I mean, I got to take Jacksonville to pull off the upset here. Back-to-back weeks with another upset is what I'm predicting. So, give me Jacksonville 21-20.